Ontario, and I don't know what time it is other places, but welcome to session number 5 of AIM Foundations for Immersion. Bienvenue à notre 5e session. C'est dur à croire, on est rendu au mois de novembre et puis on va avoir une seule autre session après celle-ci, donc c'est quelque chose. Bon, alors, sans plus tarder, on va commencer. J'espère que tout se passe bien. Don't be shy at any point if you want to say something or ask a question. If you want to ask a question, you can put your mic on and just interrupt me, and that's fine. Or you can send me a chat, and I will check those periodically during the session this evening. But don't be shy, it's okay to interrupt. So if you have something you want to share at some point, please feel at ease to do so. Alors, on va commencer avec une petite vidéoclip dans lequel je pratique, j'enseigne avec aux élèves la structure de phrase « Est-ce que tu peux m'aider? » And the question I want you to think about is, what vocabulary and structure are introduced and why? Why am I choosing this particular structure? So here we go. We're going to play the video. Hopefully we have no glitches with upside down videos this week. Je voulais juste interrompre pour dire que notez que même si ce n'est pas le début de la journée, mais c'est le début d'une activité, il faut établir le fait qu'on doit parler en français. So, as I mentioned in earlier sessions in the immersion classroom, it's not one entry routine per day and the kids are magically going to speak French all day. So they need some very consistent reminders. So I set the tone when I'm starting an activity. Even if it isn't in the beginning of the day, I'm starting the activity and I make it clear that my expectations is that we're going to speak en français. I'll continue the video now. Je ne suis So you also notice there that, so pas capable, je ne suis pas capable is something new. I want to make sure that the kids are all saying that with me. So that's why I'm doing some pleasant repetition. I am insisting on their participation. Also notice that I'm withdrawing my voice. And what does that cause? That makes the kids feel like they need to step up their game and participate more vocally with me. So that is a strategy that you can use as well. When you're finding that the kids are lagging in their participation, when you withdraw your vocal help and just stick to the gestures, that makes the kids speak more, speak better, and participate better. Qu'est-ce que j'ai? Oh! Est-ce que tu peux m'aider, s'il vous plaît?
Est-ce que tu peux m'aider, s'il vous plaît?
So why did I choose to say, I'm going to stop the video there, but why did I choose to teach them, est-ce que tu peux m'aider, as opposed to, est-ce que tu peux attacher mon manteau? Ou est-ce que tu peux fermer ma fermeture éclair? Why did I do that? Well, the reason is that we want to use a more general expression that will be reusable in many, many situations. Alors, si on enseigne, est-ce que tu peux attacher mon manteau, s'il vous plaît, c'est spécifique au manteau. OK? Est-ce que tu peux fermer ma fermeture éclair? C'est très spécifique. Mais quand on demande, est-ce que tu peux m'aider? L'enfant va pouvoir réutiliser cette structure-là, cette question-là, dans plusieurs situations. Il pourrait l'utiliser quand il veut attacher ses lacets, quand il veut mettre ses bottes, ses mitaines, quand il veut attacher son manteau, quand il a besoin d'aide à ouvrir un contenant dans sa boîte à dîner, quand il essaie d'ouvrir sa boîte à dîner. Donc, vous voyez que c'est réutilisable dans plusieurs situations, donc c'est une bonne structure. So that's something that you should always kind of think about, especially in the immersion classroom where you're going to use the teacher's unit guide as a base. But very quickly you notice that, oh, I need more vocabulary faster, or I need things sooner because I have my students all day. They need more sentence structures more quickly. Well, you need to be mindful of which structures you introduce. Try to find structures that are more reusable, more general. Okay, so that is why I used est-ce que tu peux m'aider? Bon. Maintenant, vous allez voir une petite vidéo dans laquelle j'utilise les marionnettes. Les marionnettes. Et la leçon tourne autour du fait qu'on veut enseigner le vocabulaire thématique des vêtements. Donc, et la question que je vous pose, c'est pourquoi est-ce qu'on utilise les marionnettes? Pourquoi c'est une bonne stratégie? Donc, on va regarder ceci.
Aujourd'hui,
Please notice that the kids don't get the structure or the vocabulary that I'm introducing the very first time. So I need to give them many opportunities. So that's why there's a lot of repetition. I want to make sure that the students have a chance to produce la structure voulue comme il faut pendant la leçon. Donc, je le dis pas juste une fois, je le dis plusieurs fois pour que chaque élève ait la chance de produire une structure qui a du bon sens. OK? Alors, voilà pourquoi il y a beaucoup de répétitions.
Bonjour tout le monde. Comment ça va? Est-ce que tu peux m'aider aujourd'hui?
Oui.
Oh, merci. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Alors, à ce moment-là, la vidéo finie, mais c'est juste pour vous dire qu'on enseigne les contraires ensemble. Donc, on enseigne mais, la prochaine structure, ça va être le loup-foufou enlève. Donc, c'est toujours une bonne stratégie de mettre les mots en contexte des contraires. Comme ça, l'enfant a plus de chances à comprendre le sens du mot. Mais pourquoi j'utilise les marionnettes? Mais surtout avec les jeunes élèves de maternelle, jardin, première année, même les deuxièmes années, les marionnettes les met à l'aise de communiquer en français. C'est comme si les premières interactions se font avec les marionnettes et c'est sécurisant pour l'enfant. C'est pas un gros risque pour lui parce qu'un enfant, ça veut entrer dans le jeu. Donc, l'utilisation des marionnettes, c'est une très bonne stratégie pour s'assurer que les enfants se sentent à l'aise d'interagir spontanément en français pour les premières fois. Si vous avez remarqué, les enfants étaient très engagés parce qu'il y avait la marionnette. Hein, ils voulaient lui parler. Puis là, le fait qu'on habillait, puis qu'on mettait et on enlevait les vêtements du loup foufou, ça fait que les enfants sont très, très attentifs et très actifs dans leur participation. Et je pense qu'en général, les jeunes enfants sont très attirés vers les marionnettes. Donc, c'est une bonne stratégie. Surtout le fait qu'on étudie l'histoire, donc dans ce cas-ci, l'histoire de la poule maboule, les élèves sont attachés aux personnages. Et puis, quand on les présente, les activités avec les marionnettes qui viennent de la pièce de théâtre, bon, mais c'est un contexte sécurisant, familier, où les élèves ont du succès à s'exprimer en français. So it's a really good strategy to use to ensure participation, to elicit the student participation. So I encourage you to, when you're going off the script of your teacher's unit guide, you can create opportunities where you will use the puppets to engage the students further into having spontaneous interactions in French with the puppets. All right, so we'll move on to the next slide. Okay, so the AIM really allows you to have fun with the second language, and it engages the students and motivates them to participate in activities and produce the language. So you saw the puppets. That really it's an engaging strategy. But now we're going to see some further strategies. So one of them is gesturing with a beat. This is a really engaging way to review vocabulary and gesture. So rhythm helps anchor vocabulary in the student's memory. So the next clip you're going to see is a great AIM facilitator, Shannon Bourbonnais, who is gesturing with a beat.
Don't prends garde, laisse.
Don't prends garde, laisse.
Bien mal comme ci, comme ça.
Bien mal comme ci, comme ça.
Je m'appelle.
Je m'appelle.
Elle s'appelle.
Elle s'appelle.
Il marche vite.
Il marche vite.
Elle veut travailler.
Elle veut travailler.
Je veux avoir.
Je veux avoir.
Il peut regarder.
Il peut regarder.
Je veux chercher.
Je veux chercher.
Il est parti.
Il est parti.
Excellent. Je vois que tout le monde travaille fort.
Je vois que tout le monde travaille fort.
Je vois que tout le monde parle français.
Je vois que tout le monde parle français.
Je veux avoir une carte.
Je veux avoir une carte.
J'ai besoin d'avoir.
J'ai besoin d'avoir.
Il veut voir.
Il veut voir.
Il veut.
So in this case, when you're gesturing to a beat, it's in a review situation. So these are all sentence structures and vocabulary that has been introduced in context. And now Shannon is reviewing. So she is saying the words, and the students are saying and gesturing them back. She is giving some support with the gestures as well as they answer, but she's using a beat to establish a flow and to further anchor the words into their memory. Okay, now let's go to the next one. Les mots qui vont ensemble is the next strategy. This is when students show you what they know, what they've learned by completing the sentence using the suggested structure. Donc, c'est un peu comme la structure vedette. Par exemple, dont je vous ai parlé pour le moment du calendrier, quand j'ai une structure vedette, puis les enfants disent, par exemple, je suis ici et j'aime la couleur rouge. Ben là, je vais voir si l'enfant est capable de produire une phrase avec j'aime. OK? Et le lendemain, peut-être que c'est j'ai mangé. Je suis ici et j'ai mangé. Bon, est-ce qu'ils sont capables de faire une phrase qui a du sens avec la structure choisie? Alors, on appelle ça the word associations. And so in the next clip, you're seeing Richard doing that with his class. Richard Smith, another fabulous AIM facilitator.
Je veux des mots avec mais, oui.
Mets une robe.
Mais une robe.
Mets une jupe.
Mais une jupe.
Mets un pantalon.
Mais un pantalon.
Mets le costume pour la pièce.
Mets le costume pour la
Mets
pièce.
le cahier dans le pupitre.
Mets le cahier dans le pupitre.
Mets une jupe.
Mets une jupe.
Mets le livre dans le pupitre.
Mets le livre dans le pupitre.
Mets le gomme sur la table.
Mets la gomme sur la table.
Mets le chapeau sur la
Mets
tête.
le chapeau sur la tête.
Mets ton manteau si tu as froid.
Mets ton manteau si tu as.
Mets un t-shirt.
Mets un t-shirt.
Mets le vêtement.
Mets le vêtement.
Mets ton travail dans ton cahier.
Mets ton travail dans ton cahier.
Mets la chemise dans la boîte.
Mets la chemise dans la boîte.
Mets un chandail.
Mets un chandail.
Mets le soulier sur les pieds.
Mets le soulier sur le pied.
Mets ton billet dans la boîte.
Mets ton billet, ça c'est bien.
So as you can see, the kids knew a lot, and they were able to demonstrate that by producing sentences avec la structure voulue, avec le mot voulu, mais. And this is something that you can do with the young students as well. Of course, after extensive teaching, like obviously this is not the first day that they do learn about mais. So this is after it's been used, it's been taught, it's been enseigné, pratiqué avec les gestes, transféré dans plusieurs situations. Puis là, on veut voir ce qu'ils sont capables de faire. Bon, alors, ça se fait avec les plus jeunes aussi. reviewing words, les contraires, OK? The aim strategy, les contraires. Comme je vous ai dit, on enseigne les mots, les contraires ensemble. Donc, mais, enlève, cours, marche. Donc, ça donne du contexte aux élèves. So reviewing words and their opposites further contextualizes the language for the learner. So in the next clip, you're seeing a review using les contraires.
Maintenant, tout le monde doit me dire les mots contraires et doit faire l'action aussi.
Par exemple, je dis ferme, tout le monde dit le contraire est ouvert. Mal,
Le contraire est bien.
assis-toi.
Le contraire est lève-toi.
Fini,
Le contraire est commence.
oui,
Le contraire est non.
se rappelle.
Le contraire est oublier.
Là-bas,
Ici,
s'assoit,
se lève.
enlève,
Mais,
cherche,
trouver,
cherche.
trouver.
Je ne sais pas,
Je sais,
je ne sais pas.
je sais.
Viens,
Va,
entre,
sors,
lentement.
vite,
Prends,
donne,
merci,
derrière,
sous,
sur,
froid,
chaud,
petit,
grand,
gentil,
méchant,
beaucoup.
un peu,
Aime,
déteste,
aime,
déteste,
triste,
content,
monte,
descend,
monte,
descend,
ris,
pleure,
ris,
pleure,
même,
différent, différent,
passe,
ramasse,
passe,
ramasse,
avant, après, avant,
après,
demain,
devient,
demain,
hier,
crie,
tu chantes,
crie,
tu chantes,
dans l'école,
dehors,
dans l'école,
dehors,
loin de,
près de,
loin de,
près de,
ça ne marche pas,
ça marche,
en bas,
en haut,
en bas,
en haut,
en,
arrive,
riche,
pauvre,
lève,
baisse,
lève,
baisse,
lance,
attrape.
facile.
Alors, comme vous voyez, il utilise en même temps le rythme. So he's doing like a beat and he's reviewing les contraires. So that's another really fun strategy, and it can be done with the youngest students as well. Obviously, it might not be as long, it might not be as fast paced, but the students really enjoy it, and it just shows you how much they've acquired and how deeply they've acquired these words. OK, on va continuer. Bon, là, j'aimerais vous prendre un petit peu de temps pour vous parler des livres qu'on peut lire à nos élèves. En immersion, vous avez vos élèves toute la journée ou une demi-journée, peu importe, mais vous avez le temps de lire à vos élèves, puis c'est vraiment important. Et une des questions que j'ai souvent des enseignants, c'est que, ben oui, mais ils ne comprennent pas tous les mots. Donc, juste pour vous rassurer que les enfants n'ont pas besoin de comprendre chaque mot quand on lit une histoire, mais par contre, au début et de leurs apprentissages, j'essaie de choisir des livres soit qui utilisent beaucoup de vocabulaire de haute fréquence, so the pared down language, and that is using the basic vocabulary or that has a repetitive structure in it. where pleasant repetition is used. So I'm just going to go through some of the books that I do enjoy for the young students from maternelle jusqu'à la deuxième année, and kind of give you some ideas on how you can go further and how they go well with AIM and what you're teaching in your teacher-led activities. So one of the books is David va à l'école par David Shannon. And the reason I like it is because it's pared down language. It's like arrête and non. Basically, when I'm reading this book, I bet you're familiar with it, but this little David guy is really silly, and il fait des mauvais choix à l'école, et l'enseignant dit toujours non. Alors, you don't have to read exactly what it says in the book, but in this book, it's very basic, but I just accentuate the non. Arrête, David. No, no, no. And so I read this book to maternelle students, grade 1 students, the first day, the first week of school. I'm reading this every day, and they love it because they can participate with me. So they're saying, no, 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 David, with me. So even the verb form in this book is respecting, how we try to regularize things for them in the AIM. So le je, tu, or the on. It's great for introducing classroom rules and school rules. Humor, which is something that we use a lot as AIM teachers. Well, this book goes very well with that because it's hilarious, the stuff that he's doing. And then, of course, pleasant repetition, where, the kids have a chance to have the opportunity to participate in the reading or reciting of the book by joining in and saying, no, no, no. And once again, the significant context of a child in school. You know that students experience success in French when the context is significant. And this, of course, is very close to the child's reality. So it speaks to the significant context. So as an extension from this kind of book, you could be introducing classroom rules with the pared down language. Je marche dans la classe. Je range. J'écoute, etc., etc. Like, on peut utiliser le livre as a starting point to go further. And don't forget that when you do that, you're doing teacher-led self-expression, right? You're off your script from your teacher's guide, but you're going further with the gestures and integrating them in your everyday life and conversations. Another activity is to get the students to draw David practicing the classroom rules and le contre-exemple. Alors, David qui marche, David qui court partout dans la classe et faire les contre-exemples. Puis là, on peut pratiquer. Oh, regarde mon dessin. David marche dans la classe. Ça, c'est très, très bien. Oh, oh, regarde ici. David court dans la classe. And use all this to go further. You should always integrate the use of gesture in other areas of your curriculum, in other routines in your day. So that's just an example. Non, David. This guy is always naughty, but again, I like this book for the same reasons as the last one. Puis on parle des bons choix et des mauvais choix. So, c'est un bon choix, c'est un mauvais choix. Now, when I don't now I want to talk to you about something. When I don't know the gesture, or I don't think there is a gesture for the word that I need, I make one up and use it consistently after that. But if you have the tool of the gesture database, which is a portal online, that is an awesome tool to have because you have access to the gestures from all the kits. So if there's a word that you need that appears in a later kit, because you're in immersion, that may happen very often. It might. You'd have access to it. But if you're really stuck, just make up a gesture and use it consistently. Okay. So in No David, talk about rules at home. And again, you're integrating your use of your gestures and the same kind of getting the students to draw pictures of David breaking a rule at home or respecting a rule at home. And then, because it's starting from leur dessin, vous pouvez les mettre en situation de parler en français devant le groupe. Par exemple, choisir des élèves pour venir puis présenter. Voici David, il mange avec la bouche fermée à la maison. Très bien. Or, on pourrait placer les élèves en diade et ils partagent leur dessin en disant « Oh, regarde, voici David, il fait whatever. » And then partenaire B, partenaire A parle en premier, partenaire B parle après. Je crois beaucoup à mettre les élèves en diade. Si on a pratiqué une structure, comme par exemple « Voici mon dessin » ou « Voici David, il fait ben, je crois vraiment que après d'avoir modélisé avec le grand groupe, qu'on peut mettre les élèves en diade, put them in partners and get them to talk to each other in French. Create those opportunities. Make them do it. So you're setting them up for transferring to spontaneous communication in French. Le Rouge, c'est bien mieux is another book. Kathy Stinson, I really like her. Why do I like it? Because c'est j'aime le rouge parce que le rouge est bien mieux. Il y a toujours la structure répétitive. There's a lot of pleasant repetition. It's good for talking about our favorite colors, and students can relate to the character. So what kind of activities would I do? What kind of activities would I do after reading this book? Well, hunt for red items. And when the students find something, they say, oh, j'ai trouvé le ballon est rouge, le cahier est rouge, le bloc est rouge. So get them to go around their classroom and find red items, or make a favorite color book, and each child gets a page and they say, j'aime le bleu, ou j'aime le jaune, or j'aime le... So you see how you can take the pared down language and get the kids speaking in other areas and about other things. But they're taking les structures qu'on a enseignées pendant nos activités dirigées, and we're going further with them. Parfois petit, parfois grand. Well, I really like this book because on parle de petit et grand. It's repetitive, and it's great for talking about autonomy and what kids should be doing for themselves. So I would use it to get the kids to differentiate and say, you know, par exemple, je peux brosser mes dents. Je suis grand. Je ne peux pas aller au parc tout seul. Je suis petit. Grand, petit. So, again, showing kids how to use the vocabulary you've introduced. So they're seeing you've taught it en context in your teacher-led work. You've seen it in a book. Now you're using it in another context. It's awesome. J'aime aussi la collection de Je suis capable, because vraiment, la structure Je suis capable répète toujours. Donc, there is an opportunity for kids to participate in the reciting and reading of the book because Je suis capable comes back, but I'm exposing them to new vocabulary also. And it's everyday actions that children do. So, and it's funny. The pictures are very funny. So the kids really enjoy these, and they're learning a lot of other vocabulary about actions or behaviors from everyday life, their everyday activities. But il y a une structure répétitive qui permet aux élèves de participer activement tout au long de la lecture. What could you do with that? Make a list of classroom chores and have the students say, je suis capable de pousser ma chaise. Je suis capable de ranger mon matériel, whatever you want them to say. You could also show them pictures of people engaged in various activities and have the kids say, je suis capable de faire ça. If they don't know all the vocabulary for the activities they see, use something general. So again, on pourrait les avoir en diade, and they all have a little collection of pictures. And they pull one out of the container. Let's say it's quelqu'un qui fait de la bicyclette. Je suis capable de faire ça. Je ne suis pas capable de faire ça. Les deux élèves ont la chance de dire leur part. I also like this collection of Jeremy Tankard, I suppose it is. Gros grognon, gros bobo, gros gâté. There's repetitive, it's humor, there's lots of pared down language. The illustrations are awesome, and it's funny, and it's great for talking about feelings. Grognon, grumpy grognon, right? So, for example, and they're really good books for starting to talk about feelings. Je suis content, triste, fâché, excité, grognon. You could have mats placemats with faces on them, and the kids use them, make Play-Doh faces to do les expressions. Donc, fais un visage content, montre-moi triste, but with the Play-Doh. And art activities, paint your favorite character. And then, of course, when they paint their favorite character, after, they can present it. They can talk about it. Parle-moi de ta peinture ou de ton personnage. Il est bleu. Il a deux yeux. Il a deux pattes. You know, encourage them to use all these situations to communicate in French. Okay. Pat le Chat, those are awesome books as well. Again, I love the repetitive structure and the rhythm in each book, and there's a good moral to each story as well. And most of the kids are familiar with these, so they've heard them in English, so it's easier for them to understand. And please don't translate things for them. Just don't do it. So when I do j'aime mes boutons ronds, for example, I have a whole bunch of buttons, and the kids sort them. And there's j'aime les boutons. Well, first I do it with colors. J'aime les boutons rouges. J'aime les boutons bleus. J'aime les boutons verts. And then I do it with shapes, and they learn to use j'aime, but they learn all the colors and les formes. So on intègre et on associe le verbe avec le vocabulaire thématique. Sorting shoes. J'adore mes souliers blancs. J'adore les souliers bleus. You know, have fun with it. Use story time as a launching pad for des activités de communication orale. Bon, il est quelle heure? I need to pace myself, make sure I have enough time to do everything tonight. So the other thing I want to talk about is AIM readers and how you can use those. So all these activities that you're going to be seeing now are in the Immersion Teacher's Guide that is on the Immersion Pull Ma Boule portal. So if you haven't had a chance to peruse all that, that's okay. But I do encourage you to do so. So, for example, La poule ma boule et le gros bruit. That is a little story that you can have. Now, if you're teaching the younger grades, for me, this is a story that I read to them. I don't expect my kindergarten grade 1 students to be able to read this story. I read it to them. Now, the students love this because it's taking the characters that they're familiar with, but they're in another story. So it's really neat. But the storyline follows a similar format, so it's easy for them to understand. Of course, it uses pared down language. It provides another model for how the learned vocabulary can be used. And it's also great for story extension and how to write your own story. So you could use it as a model, like, to show them, like, regarde, j'ai utilisé les mêmes personnages, mais c'est une histoire différente. So that could be a launching pad for them. And some activities to integrate other areas of the curriculum. Draw your favorite part of the story. Make a graph. What's the same? What's different about the two stories? So the original Poule Ma Boule and this one. Act out the new story with puppets. Make up your own story using the same characters. La fête du loup foufou. I really love this one. When I was teaching kindergarten, we did a whole unit around this particular story where we pretended that it was going to be la fête du loup foufou, puis on allait avoir une grosse célébration dans la classe. We actually were having one. We did have one. So we made up invitations, we planned a birthday party, on a fait des listes, so l'écriture s'en vient ici, on a fait des cartes pour le loup foufou, on a joué, j'ai créé un centre de bonne fête. Et tout ce que j'ai mis, c'est des nappes, des assiettes, des petits gâteaux en plastique, des chapeaux de fête, and the kids would play happy birthday in French. They loved that. It was very simple. All they were doing was like saying, c'est la fête de qui aujourd'hui? C'est ta fête, Anne? Okay. Bonne fête, Anne, bonne fête, Anne, bonne fête, bonne fête. Singing the song, and then they'd give a gift. I had a little box, and they'd find something in the class, and they'd put it in, and they learned how to do a birthday in French. And then we invited people to Lou Foufou's birthday. We planned the whole party and made invitations and had a big celebration. And, it was just a very motivating kind of activity for the kids because they love the play characters. Ils ont un attachement. So check those activities out on your portal. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen here, share the portal with you. So if you go on the portal, you'll see all the AIM readers and many activities for each. So for example, in the reader Les Animaux, everything is voici la poule ma boule, voici, so c'est la structure voici. Alors, on va regarder une petite vidéo du jeu sur le mot voici. Donc, on a lu, j'ai présenté le petit livre, voici la poule ma boule, voici le chat Micha, voici. Puis là, maintenant, j'ai modélisé pour les élèves comment mettre le mot voici avec les personnages pour faire des phrases. On l'a fait en groupe classe. Puis maintenant, les élèves sont capables de jouer avec un partenaire pendant les ateliers. Oops. Hang on a second. Something's. Oops. I'm having a. Well, something tells me that you are not seeing this. Hang on.
Voici tout le monde à la fête.
Hang on a second. Something's happening here. Okay. All right. Let's try this again.
Voici la gorge. Voici tout le monde à la fête.
Wow. Est-ce que tu peux lire tout ça pour moi?
Voici le gland. Voici le loup. Voici ma poule. Il est drôle. Voici la poule ma poule. Voici le cheval Cristobal. Voici tout le monde à la fête.
Excellent, merci. So, so it's just all little activities like that allow you to set students up so that they can be speaking in French pendant les ateliers, pendant les centres. On va aller voir d'autres. Alors, voici un autre livre. Dans celui-là, ce petit livre à la ferme, on pratique la structure il y a. Il y a une poule à la ferme, il y a un chat à la ferme, il y a... Alors, là, j'ai modélisé avec le groupe classe comment faire le jeu. Et là, ils sont capables de le faire d'une façon indépendante pendant les centres. Alors, voici.
Il y a un chat à la ferme. Il y a un cheval à la ferme. Il y a un poule à la ferme. Il y a une poule à la ferme. Il y a un mouton à la ferme.
Okay, so they're reusing, it's familiar, it's something we've practiced together, ils l'ont vu dans le livre. Alors, si vous prenez le temps d'aller à travers les activités, vous allez voir plusieurs vidéos des élèves en action. Voici un autre.
Il y a un poule dans la ferme. Les chats dans les boîtes. Il y a une petite poule dans la Il y a un petit poule dans la boîte. Il y a un chat à la boîte.
Okay. Alors, ces activités-là sont toutes décrites. Everything's described in great detail, what you could be doing with these readers to get the kids independent during center time. We do a lot of teacher-led work, but of course our goal is to have the kids living, playing, working in French throughout the day, even when it's not teacher-led time. So please take the time to look through this guide and do as many of the activities as possible. Here's another fun one, tic-tac-toe des actions. So le petit livret, les actions, présente les personnages en train de faire différentes actions comme le chat Micha fait la peinture, dessine, le mouton parle. So here I have copies of the images and the kids are playing tic-tac-toe, but in order to get to put their X or their O, they have to turn over one of the pictures and produce an associated sentence with it. If their partner agrees that they did it correctly, they get to write their X or their O on the tic-tac-toe board. So here you look at this.
Le cheval mange. Les poules à poule courent. Le foufou parle.
Okay. All right, let me put this back and sharing is paused. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing. Stop share. Just bear with me for a minute. Sorry about this. All right. So I'm just trying to be mindful of the time. We're going to move ahead, but please explore the portal. You will find so much in that in that immersion guide that you can be doing to fully integrate the AIM in your immersion day. But seeing as we have only 20 minutes left, I want to skip ahead and go to the subject of story retelling. So what is story retelling? Let me tell you. It's the ability, it's the ability to retell a story in your own words. Alors, c'est le fait d'être capable de redire l'histoire, par exemple, de la poule ma boule, dans ses propres mots. And why is this important? It's because it's an excellent demonstration of proficiency and comprehension. Of course, to be able to get the students to do this, extensive practice is needed. It's not going to suddenly magically happen. You need to really train the students in this area. And I'll get into that with you. It begins really long before the retelling of the play. And what I like about teaching in immersion with AIM is that I can start building those retelling skills from the very first time I read a story to the kids. So I use the picture books and the story books that I read to them, like you saw the ones that I like, a sampling of them tonight. And I use those to start building these story retelling abilities. And of course, asking the right question is a crucial component. Story retelling is really one of the most important, or probably the most important component of the AIM. And sometimes teachers tend to kind of avoid it. They don't think their kids are going to be able to do it, but that they are. And it's the first step towards the development of creativity in the language. So the students are learning to retell in their own words the story that they're learning. So initially, it's a very simple activity, but expectations rise as the students progress in the program. Now, the eventual goal is that they won't be using many words from the original story, that they will be able to use different vocabulary. Paraphrasing, which is what they're going to be doing, teaches students to get a message across without access to specific vocabulary that they might wish to use in the first language. So being able to paraphrase, get your message across, can alleviate student frustration. It can reduce or eliminate the desire to need translations. And in later units, story retelling teaches students to embellish their stories. So how do you begin? Well, first you need to model to the class. You choose a strong student to model with you as your partner, or you have two strong students do it. So you show pictures or photos of the play, placing them where students may refer to them during the story retelling. Initially, the first student must simply say 2 sentences at a time, and then the second student says 2. So, alors, je commence. Je dois dire 2 phrases et après, tu dois continuer l'histoire et dire 2 phrases. Après ça, je dois continuer et dire 2 phrases et on essaie de raconter l'histoire comme ça. It might be useful to use un bâton de parole, like a story stick that is passed from one student to another. Some teachers call it le microphone imaginaire ou le bâton de parole. So initially, I'm doing this with the whole class, but I will show the students what I want by having one student kind of model it with me. So I might start with, OK, je commence. Un jour, une petite poule qui s'appelle ma boule marche à la ferme. Tout à coup, quelque chose tombe sur sa tête et elle a peur. Ton tour. And then my partner would say, oui, la poule a très peur et elle pense que le ciel tombe. Alors, elle court et court et court et elle crie à son ami cheval Cristobal. So you see where we're going here? We're trying to retell the story in our own words, but we're not changing the story at this point. We're just retelling it. And then once the kids kind of get the gist of it, then the hands start going up and on passe le bâton parole. OK, ton tour. Ajoute la phrase. Of course, I'm trying to record this on chart paper so that we can pick up where we left off the next time that we continue the story retelling. So I'm writing it down on chart paper. If that's not possible, you could always have a recording going and just transcribe it later. So you really have to model it with the whole group before kids can do this with a partner. I just want to backtrack here and show you the video of an oral story retelling of a grade 1 student who was in her first year of AIM, and she's retelling the story that they were studying, which was La Princesse et la Grenouille. I think that's what it was. So here we go.
Histoire, c'est une princesse et un jour, la princesse joue avec sa balle favorite. Elle lance la balle et la balle tombe dans l'eau. La princesse dit, au secours, ma balle est tombée dans l'eau. Et tout à coup, le grenouille dit, qu'est-ce qu'il y a, princesse? Et la princesse dit, ma balle est tombée dans l'eau. Et le grenouille dit, qu'est-ce que tu donnes si je cherche la balle? La princesse pense. Est-ce que tu veux ma robe? Non, merci, dit le grenouille. Est-ce que tu veux mon couronne? Non, merci, dit le grenouille. Est-ce que tu veux mon soulier? Non, merci, dit le grenouille. Alors, dit la princesse, qu'est-ce que tu veux? Le grenouille dit, je veux être ton ami et habiter au château avec toi. La princesse pense. C'est une grande chose. Mais elle veut la balle. C'est une promesse. Mais tu dois chercher ma balle, dit la princesse. Tout à coup, la grenouille saute dans l'eau et cherche la balle. Le grenouille.
So you can actually see her wheels turning. Elle cherche un vocabulaire and she's just thinking, okay, what's my next step? What am I going to say next? So your students are able to get to this point. But you need to help them with this. You need to train them with this. So I want to talk about how you can use picture books to start developing these story retelling skills. So when you're reading stories, even before reading the story, you can start training the students by just having them read the pictures and asking questions, such des questions totales to begin with. For example, est-ce que tu vois des animaux ou des personnes sur cette page couverture? Est-ce que le garçon marche ou le garçon court? Est-ce que ce livre parle des chiens ou des chats? So just by showing them the images, you can be asking des questions totales to get them to reflect on what's happening in the pictures. And of course, then you will evolve to les questions partielles. Par exemple, qu'est-ce que tu vois sur cette page? Qui sont les personnages que tu vois? Combien de personnages est-ce que tu vois? Qu'est-ce que les personnages font sur cette page-ci? Qu'est-ce qui se passe sur cette page? Où est-ce que l'histoire se passe? Qu'est-ce qui arrive au début, au milieu, à la fin? So really, you need to think about the questions that you're going to ask the students and get them to talk about what's happening in the pictures. That can be a separate activity from reading the story. You might choose to just go through the pictures and say, qu'est-ce que tu vois? Est-ce que tu vois des chiens, des animaux, des personnes? What I like to do with my students is when I'm doing this kind of activity, I ask them to have a partner. Choisis un ami et décide qui est ami A et qui est ami B. Ami A va commencer quand je pose la première question. So déjà, ils sont en diade. So they're going to have to speak to each other in French. So if I'm showing them, okay, voici la page, regarde ici. Partenaire A, est-ce que tu vois des animaux ou des personnes? So partenaire A would have to say, je vois des animaux. Je vois bla 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 bla. OK, on tourne la page. Partenaire B, est-ce que la vache mange ou la vache dort sur cette page? Oh, partenaire B dit à partenaire A, la vache dort. So I'm training them to think about the pictures, think about the stories. So they're getting used to talking about the stories that I read. And I'm progressively asking more complex questions and expecting more of them. But very early on, I start this training so that when we get to story retelling of La Poule Ma Boule, they're used to doing this. They've been trained to talk about the stories, to talk about the pictures, to describe what's happening in their own words. And so it's not such a shock or a jump or so hard for them when they get to the actual story retelling of the play. So use your story time efficiently. Get the kids talking. Get them to express themselves using the words that they've learned. Think about your questions. So of course, when you do initially begin story retelling, you're going to need a high level of support. This is annoying. Hang on a second. Encourage the students to contribute to the story by beginning with supported, scaffolded question totale. So even when you're doing La Poule Ma Boule, est-ce que au début de l'histoire, est-ce que la poule ma boule court partout ou elle marche à la ferme? Oh, OK. Au début de l'histoire, de cette histoire, une petite poule marche à la ferme. So you're really guiding them and asking them very specific questions that will enable them to make complete sentences but tell the story in their words. As each sentence of the story retelling is added, like I said, you can write it on a chart paper or a laptop using the LCD projector, or if you have a smart board, which I don't have, or again, if you just want to do a recording and then transcribe it later, that could be done as well. But I like having the written words out there for them so that we can read them back as sometimes we forget what we just said, so we read it back and then we add. As students become more comfortable and confident with expectations, you gradually take away support by asking les questions partielles, and then you get more general by just saying, et qu'est-ce qui se passe maintenant? Qu'est-ce qui se passe après? Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Oh. Okay. So when we're talking about written story retelling, tips for success, students may not take any sentence directly from the play. They can add details like colors, descriptions, comme quand je dis un jour, une petite poule jaune qui s'appelle ma boule marche lentement à la ferme. But of course, we guide this with questioning to support the integration of some new ideas. Now, of course, I would model this with the whole group. We would go through the exercise as a whole group, and then I would encourage the students to do it with a partner. Anytime a student makes an error, deal immediately with this error as a class to deepen student awareness of the spelling or grammar concept. So, si l'enfant dit un petit poule marche à la ferme, est-ce qu'on dit un petit poule ou une petite poule? We deal with the mistakes as we go along so that everyone can learn from this. And we really try to add a lot of details and make the story long. And this is not something that is done over one day. It's done over a period of time, many days, so that we can really build the story, add lots of detail, add lots of descriptions. Okay, so we're doing it as a group together, but of course we want the students to eventually do it in partners. Now, of course, if you're teaching the youngest students that have very limited writing skills or none, if like in my case, maternelle, we're doing it as a group. They're not going to be able to do it with a partner. They just don't even have the fine motor skills to write the words. But depending on what time of year you're doing this in grade 1, they will be able to do some. Grade 2, definitely. But of course, it goes without saying that the younger the students are, the shorter the stories will be. The older the students are, the longer they will be. So the formula for success with this activity is extensive whole class modeling, providing strong models of work that students are expected to do in partners or in groups, and then showing students exactly what's expected of them. There's no secrets. We're really modeling it. We're giving them examples. We're giving them the modèle, and then they know what the expectations are. Like in any AIM activity, don't spend more than 10, 15 minutes a day on story retelling because it demands a lot of concentration and because it's not choral speaking. It's individual students offering their own sentences. So what happens when we're doing that is that the rest of the class doesn't have the opportunity to speak. They're listening at that point. And so we need to keep these activities a reasonable amount of time, which is 10 to 15 minutes maximum. And we do the story retelling over a series of days. You know, it's not going to be one day. It's not going to be 2 days. It's going to be a long-term thing because the students will get better at it as you work through it with them. Evidently, their comprehension of what a story retelling is develops and improves over time. So I can show you some examples of written story retellings. This one is from a grade 1 student and it's 80 hours of AIM instruction. So I don't know if you can read it, but it says, un jour, une fille qui une fille qui s'appelle Marie. Marie est très contente parce que elle veut voir son ami Pierre. So it's a story retelling of comment y aller. Pierre habite très très loin et Marie dit, oh, moi je veux aller voir mon ami Pierre, mais now I can't read it anymore. I don't know what she's saying here. I've lost my ability to read this, but it's funny how when your students used invented spelling, you can read it. I haven't looked at this in a while, so I can't read it anymore, but it's a story retelling of comment y aller, and it's quite long. Okay. So in whatever grade you begin the program, the process is the same, but your expectations are different. The younger students are going to write shorter stories with more errors, and the older students are going to write longer stories with more accuracy. So my advice to you for the story retelling is to start with the storybooks. Si vous avez une heure du conte à chaque jour dans votre classe, ça c'est une bonne chose. Commencez avec ces livres-là. Start getting the kids to talk about the stories that you read to them. Start training them for oral story retelling so that when you feel ready to start it with La Poule Ma Boule, the kids will have had extensive practice with it. So think about the questions you're going to ask. Start with les questions totales and get to les questions partielles, and then move on to qu'est-ce qui se passe après, qu'est-ce qui se passe maintenant. Get more general. So that would be my advice. Get started with using your storybooks every day to build the oral story retelling skills. So that brings us to, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, I kept you 5 minutes longer. Je vous souhaite une bonne soirée, puis on se voit vers la fin du mois de novembre pour notre dernière session. Je pense que c'est le 25 novembre ou le 24. So we'll see you in a few weeks for our last session, and I hope you have an awesome week, and we'll see you again soon. Bonne soirée tout le monde.